Well, now, these are 4 accounts that you shouldn't even consider putting your money into, all right? At the end of this video, it's less than 15 minutes, and I'm going to share with you 4 accounts that you should not put your money out there. And by the way, guess what? I'm kind of feeling that some of your money is already in the accounts, you know? Some of you guys have already put this money in an account, or this one of these accounts, okay? Let's get into the business. And by the way, don't forget to hit the video, hit the like video, and make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Now, the first account that you shouldn't put your money into, and I know you know this is all about what we call the idling, you know, current account. So if you didn't know what is a current account, people call it like a landing account. You see, let's say for example you are employed. You remember that account that you gave them where they should be paying you through? That's what we call the current account. Or let's say you're in business, that money or that account that when you take your money, you put it in that specific place, it is just idle somewhere. Unless, I have to put a very big disclaimer here, unless you operate a business whereby you really need to be liquid. What do I mean? It's like a situation whereby the business that you're operating, you really need money like tomorrow morning, like each and every time you transact. That makes sense. That is not an idle current account. That's why I have stressed idling current account. Or maybe you're putting your money somewhere in an aim of hitting a certain target. That makes sense. But if you're just, you know, your money just in that account idling somewhere, first of all, your money is subjected to what we call the inflation. For example, in the inflation of Kenya right now as we speak is around 5.5 all the way to 6.5%. I'm making this video around May of 2024. Depends on when you're watching this video. I'm saying this because the fluctuation or the inflation keep on changing time to time. See what happens now if you have that money in idle in account doing nothing. It's not either making you any money. By the way, that money is benefiting that specific bank. As much as we do say money, you know, taken to a bank, it's actually a nuisance, or should I say it's a liability, but they use it to actually as a capital, or they can use it as a tool to make more of money out of it. So having that money in a current account or a landing account doing nothing, it is not subjected to any growth. You shouldn't have that money from that given account. And guess what? At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you the alternatives of these specific accounts of what you're supposed to do so that at least your money be at a better place compared to where it is right now. All right, now see the other thing, or the other account that you shouldn't put your money into, and this one is quite popular, by the way. It's called a fixed account. Fixed account, this is an account where they tell you, hey, you know what, do you want to earn something, you know, take this amount of yours, put it in this fixed account, we're gonna give you amazing 6%. And you're like, oh my goodness, 6% is quite amazing. And obviously that money is pre-tax. Post-tax goes all the way to 4% or something of sort. Why am I discouraging you doing that compared to the current account? Oh, by the way, if you were to choose between two accounts, if you were to choose between current account and fixed account, you'd rather go for the fixed account. There's something called the devil's alternative. Well, you'd rather choose the B than A. Why? At least, yeah, both of them are not really recommended, but the point is B is a little bit better compared to A, because A exclusively you are earning nothing. And by the way, bear in mind that if maybe you go ahead and open a bank account where you need to, there's something called, I think there's some payments, some of the bank they usually cut, I don't know, management fee, maintenance fee, I don't know what they call it, but there's some of the deductions that they usually do out there, depends on the account that you have. Now, see, why am I discarding the fixed account? Fixed account, the interest rate that they usually give you, for example, most of the banks in Kenya, and I stand corrected, again, these rates keep on changing. For example, they tell you going to give you 6%. Okay, they give you 6% return on your money. Now, the point is a fixed account giving you this percent where the inflation is at 6.7%, sometimes 7.2%. So, I mean, seriously, what are you doing? You know, because whatever you're going to make, let's say you put your 100K in that account at the end of the year. And by the way, this 6%, it is pre-tax. It is before tax. So if you deduct 15% interest tax, that is in regard to Kenya, is usually 15% withholding. Therefore, it means this percent can actually go all the way to 4%. So if it goes to 4%, then it means if you put your 100K in a fixed account, you're going to get yourself 4,000, okay? 4,000, that's what you get at the end of the year, okay? If that's what you get at the end of the year, the inflation is at 7.6.7%. And the inflation, there is no tax. You see, inflation does not pay tax, that you can say now this inflation, it has to pay tax of 15%, then it goes to 4. No, inflation is inflation. If it's 6.7%, it is 6.7%. So if it is 6.7%, therefore it means your money has lost value by a rate of 6.7%. Okay, obviously inflation is kind of a hard thing for most of the people to understand. Well, if you go ahead and key your PIN or whatever, you're going to see the amount of money. It's still 100,000, has not reduced. But the purchasing power of the 100,000 has actually been reduced by 6.7%. Basically, your 100,000 has been reduced by 6,700. That's for sure. It means that what you could have bought, let's say last year with 100,000, you need to add 6,700 for you to buy the similar thing. You get what I'm saying? So that's what it means by the inflation. And if the money has lost value by 6.7%, which is 6,700, and they have given you 4,000, then it means that you're still short 6,000 or 3,700. Therefore, it is not the best option. It is a best option if maybe you're operating in a country like US, where the inflation is around 2 point something or 3 point something. They give you 4 or 5%. At least that is making sense. Why? Because it's above the inflation. And this is what you're supposed to consider. If you go to those countries, you realize the interest rate is way low. Why? Because the inflation has actually been taken care of. It's around 2.2, 2.4, 3.4, around there. If it is at 4, it is actually crazy. Well, not until Kenyan one hits 9%, that's the sense, say, hey, now we are facing a big inflation and something or sort. But anyway, it is what it is. So fixed account is an account that I wouldn't really recommend that you get into based on these purposes. And you can tell me, hey, Joseph, what if I wait until the inflation goes back low? Well, that is a bad timing, because this thing can actually even fluctuate within a month or within a week or within a day. Boom, things goes crazy, and actually you thought that you did a very good timing. So that is exactly what happened. So the alternatives of better investments or better ways of keeping your money compared to the above accounts that I'm about to share with you. So allow me to go to the next one. And do you know what? I promise that I'm going to share with you the alternatives where you can keep your money. Okay, let's go to the point number 3. The point number 3, or the account number 3, it is an account that we call the table banking account. Table banking account. Table banking. What is table banking? First of all, table banking is me and you and other people come together. We contribute the money. Commonly known as the merry-go-round kind of a thing. And then once we contribute the money, we put it in an account, and then say at the end of the week, we borrow from each other, and then we think we are making the interest, but overly, we are actually not cautioned under, or we are not cautioned against the inflation. And this is what people tend to think, that they are making money. Let's say we are 5 of us or we are 10 of us. We contribute 1,000 bob, let's say per day, that is 10,000, or let's say per month, that is 10,000. So, and then this is what we do. At the end of the month, we usually borrow 2 people, or not really borrow, we lend that money to 2 people. Then those 2 people, they have to pay us an interest of, say, 200, and then that means at the end of the month, we're going to have, at the end of the other month, we're going to have our 10,000, our normal contribution, plus the 400 as the interest that we've gained amongst ourselves. But the question is this: we did not consider the fact that overly, it's like being enclosed somewhere in a sitting room, but the entire house is under the concentration camp. And then just because you are free within the sitting room, you tend to think that you're largely free, you can just get outside, then get out of the concentration camp. Did you just get the idea that I'm actually trying to tell you? Because some people will tell you, hey, we are borrowing amongst ourselves and what have you, we have some money in the account, but the money in the account is actually losing some value as much as you're making some things here. Well, as much as you might say, hey, we are making more money than the inflation is eating from us, true, but who said that even that small amount of money you tend to lose, or you're supposed to lose it? You aren't supposed to lose it. You can safeguard it, because one principle of money is that you're not supposed to lose it. Okay, so therefore, then that means what you're supposed to do is to go ahead and open an account. Come on, I'm not going to share that right now. I'm going to share that at the end of the video. So the point is this: go ahead and try to not get your money into this table banking. And if you have already a group, or some members there, go ahead and see those members and tell them the importance of having an account that is actually cautioning you against the inflation, because inflation is a real thing, is a thing that is affecting a lot of people when it comes to making money, investing money, and all those kind of things. So if you can consider this factor, can actually help you to the next level. I'm saying this because there's a time I made a video about why you should avoid the merry-go-round groups and what have you, and I'm telling you, a lot of you guys actually accepted, but there was a certain group of people that were roasting me on the comment section. But I understand, I did not judge them. I understand sometimes to get something that has been implanted into somebody for a large number of years, or a lot of years, it becomes a little bit hard, because it's so hard for people to unlearn, for them to relearn. you know, it becomes very hard. For example, if you, I was watching a certain person whom I follow a lot on social media, and you come from Kenya, you go to West Africa, you try to eat fufu, it becomes like, I don't want to eat fufu. But if somebody else then from West Africa comes to Kenya, and maybe you're East Africa trying to eat ugali, they still feel, why? It's not that those are bad foods, it's not that you're not used to. So the moment you are shared there's some information that you're not used to, it's shared to you, it becomes a very hard for you. You kind of wrestle with it. You know, we usually say change is a challenge. And if you cannot accommodate change, then I'm telling you, you're advocating for comfortability. And that comfortability is what brings crisis to people as far as their finances are concerned. You got the point? Thank you. Let's go to the point number 4, or the last account. The last account, in this account, we call them the accounts that is offering you what we call the unrealistic returns. Unrealistic returns. Can you imagine this? Somebody was actually texted me and told me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I have an account that they're telling me to deposit the money and they're giving me 5% per month. Do you know what is 5% per month? 5% per month, they are simply saying it is 5 times 12, which is 60%. It means at the end of the month, if you invest your 100K, you're going to have 60,000 at the end of the year. Therefore, you're going to have the 100K that you had plus the 60K. That means you have 160K. I mean, seriously. Come on, those are crazy return. Even the government itself is giving you a crazy 17% and 18%. That is the maximum we have ever registered in IFB, that is infrastructure bond. Now you're telling me there is someone somewhere telling you to give you the 5% per month, which is 60% per year, which means it's, come on. And you're telling me you're gonna double your income, actually more than double your income within a period of 1.3 years. There is no way, there's no investment that can actually give you a return of, you double your money within a 1.3 years. Most of the wealthy people could be putting their money in these specific areas. But then there's a guy who I'm actually texted right now some few minutes ago, and I told the guy, come on, because the guy keep on asking me question about, is this real, is this, and everything that he's asking me is all about scam. And I'm telling this guy, come on, these are not realistic investments. This is not what we get. If then this is true, most of the people could be in these areas investing. So be very careful some of the returns. Let me share with you. If the returns, a normal return should range between 10 to, let's talk about 60, because of the government, the one that we have in Kenya, depends on when you're where you're watching me from. Let's say 16%. That is usually the normal return. If it goes 17, 18, 19, you're supposed to question a lot. Be very cautious. Question a lot. Why is it going towards that area? Because this is where we range. This is the percentage range and something of sort. Okay? At that particular point. Unless maybe you buy a property, and then maybe there is a development of a very big infrastructure in that particular area. We can even realize 50%, 60. Sometimes it can even double within a day or a month or something of sort. But if somebody is telling you send this money somewhere, you're gonna get this amount of money. That's not. Don't do that. Fine. See, I promised that I'm going to share with you some alternatives where you can put your money. If it's about the current account, well, you can put your money in an MMF. Okay. The fixed account, you can as well put your money in an MMF. And let me just say, all these guys, you can actually put your money in an MMF. MMF or a money market fund can actually play a very good role where you can put your money alternatively rather than having this money lying idle somewhere in a bank. Okay? Did I share a good message with you? Indeed. Well, it is exactly 14 minutes and the end of my video, but don't forget, like the video. And by the way, did you know that on 19th of May 2024, I'm going to have a session, and it's going to be a Google Meet video call live session where you tend to ask me, or not to tend, you ask me a question in real time. It's about finances and how we can be able to create ourselves a good and working budget. Go ahead and be part of it. Get that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Shoot me a call. The charges is only $1,500. That is like $11, $12 around there. See you there.